It was supposed to be just another night out with friends. The kind of night where you go to a bar, chat about nothing in particular, and laugh until your stomach hurts. I never expected it to change my life. I never expected him. It was a rainy Friday evening when I met him. I was at a small, cozy bar downtown with a few friends. We were all enjoying ourselves, but I was distracted. I had been feeling a bit off lately. Something wasn't quite right in my life, though I couldn't place exactly what it was. I was restless, and I had convinced myself that I didn't need anything or anyone to make me feel better. But then, just as I was nursing my drink and looking out at the window, I noticed him. He wasn't the loudest person in the room, nor the most obvious. But there was something about him. His quiet confidence, his sharp gaze, the way he smiled with his eyes before his lips even curved upward. It was magnetic. And for the first time in a while, I felt like I was truly seeing someone. Not just noticing them, but really seeing them. Our first conversation was nothing special. He asked me about the book I was reading, and I gave him some half-hearted answer. But there was this underlying spark that neither of us could ignore. He leaned in a little closer, smiled that irresistible smile, and the next thing I knew, we were talking about everything. Life, love, dreams, regrets. We shared a deep connection that felt like it had been years in the making, not just a few minutes. When the night ended, I didn't expect to feel anything. I was used to casual encounters, to fleeting moments that didn't leave a mark. But when he handed me his number, I felt my heart skip a beat. And for the first time in a while, I felt something in me stir that I thought had long been buried. The first few weeks were filled with texts, late-night phone calls, and spontaneous meetups. We laughed a lot. I'd tell him about my day, about my dreams of traveling the world, and about how I sometimes felt lost in the chaos of life. And he would listen. Really listen. I didn't have to try to impress him. He accepted me for exactly who I was, flaws and all. The more I got to know him, the more I realized that he wasn't just someone I liked. He was someone I needed in my life. Ethan was his name. He was different from anyone I had ever known. He was calm, thoughtful, and had a gentle but unwavering presence. But there was also a rawness about him. He had scars, deep ones, but he wore them with grace, not defensiveness. He didn't hide who he was, even if it meant exposing parts of himself that were vulnerable. We spent weeks together, and the bond between us only deepened. We shared our deepest fears and greatest hopes, and somehow, in the midst of all that openness, we began to fall in love. I say somehow, because I was never someone who believed in love at first sight or fairy tale endings. I was skeptical about love, and I had always been the one to keep my distance when things started getting too serious. But with Ethan, it was different. It wasn't forced. It felt like love was growing organically between us, like we were being pulled into something neither of us could control, but both of us could feel. He made me want to be better, not for him, but for myself. And I fell hard. But love, as beautiful as it can be, is also terrifying. For the first time in my life, I was in something that felt real, something that felt like it could last. And that scared me more than anything. I've always been independent, too independent maybe. I've spent most of my life focusing on my career, building walls around myself to protect me from getting hurt. So, when Ethan and I grew closer, I started to panic. The closer I let him get, the more vulnerable I felt. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to love without fear. The fear of getting hurt, of losing myself in someone else, started to creep in. I pulled away from him without explanation. I became distant, cold even. I started making excuses to not see him, and when I did, I felt like I was holding back pieces of myself. I didn't want to admit it, but I was sabotaging something beautiful because I was afraid. One evening, as we sat in my apartment, the tension was palpable. Ethan could sense it. I could see it in his eyes. He was hurt. I could feel the distance between us growing, and it was suffocating. "Why are you pulling away from me?" he asked, his voice quiet but firm. "I thought we were in this together." I swallowed hard, my throat tightening. I don't know, Ethan. I just. I'm scared. I'm scared of what this is, of what it means. I've never let anyone in like this. He sat across from me, his gaze softening. You don't have to be scared. But you can't keep pushing me away. I'm here no matter what. But you have to decide if you're ready to take this step. I'm not going to chase you, but I will wait. If you need time, I'll give it to you. His words hit me like a ton of bricks. I realized then that I had been sabotaging something real because of my own insecurities. I was afraid to love, afraid to lose myself. But I had been given the chance to have everything I wanted: love, trust, and a partner who was willing to support me no matter what. The next few days were a whirlwind. I spent time reflecting on my feelings, sorting through the chaos in my heart. Ethan was right. I couldn't keep running away from the love we had built. If I truly wanted him in my life, I had to let go of the fear and embrace the vulnerability that comes with loving someone. I met him at the park, where we first really talked about our feelings. The sun was setting, casting a soft, golden light over everything. I could see the anticipation in his eyes, the hope that maybe, just maybe, I was ready to open up. I'm sorry, I said softly, taking his hand. I've been scared. I've been pushing you away because I was afraid to lose myself in you. But the truth is, I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose what we have. I just need to trust that we can make this work. He smiled, a smile that reached his eyes. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be honest with me, and I'm right here, every step of the way. In that moment, I realized that love isn't about having all the answers. It's about being willing to walk into the unknown together, to trust each other, and embrace the mess that comes with it. As I reflect on everything that's happened, I realize how much I've grown. Love is not easy, and it's not always comfortable. It's full of ups and downs, moments of clarity and moments of doubt. But it's also full of joy, laughter, and a sense of connection that is worth every fear, every worry, and every tear. The biggest lesson I've learned is that you can't let fear dictate your happiness. Yes, love is terrifying. Yes, it makes you vulnerable. But that's also what makes it real. True love is built on trust, communication, and the willingness to let go of control. And so, as I continue this journey with Ethan, I know that we will face challenges, but we will face them together, and that's what matters. I am ready to love fully, without fear, without hesitation, because I know that the love I have with him is worth it.